Hello, this is Rhonda Kitchens, your faculty academic librarian. And I want to talk to you today and kind of do a fast-paced, kind of casual little presentation to show you some awesome things. New databases, I want to talk about student success and best practices in the context of library resources. The library has doubled down on its holdings. Right now, it's time to double down on library collaboration and support. We are ready to go. Have I designed you a class guide? Have you looked at the class guides? But I've spoken to you about class guides before. Reach out to me if you didn't hear me or you don't know what I'm talking about. Meantime, EPSCo, EPSCo, EPSCo. I believe Tim will say this was my Marcia for most of a few of these quarters. I happen to have a bias. I love EPSCo products. When I say EPSCo, I mean like EPSCo, ProQuest, Gale, all these academic publishers for libraries, not unlike Hulu, Netflix, Pluto, very free, very hard to use. But EBSCO is kind of like, I believe, a Hulu. ProQuest is more like a Netflix because if you read one article, it sometimes suggests more, and that is a little extra. But there's some things that EBSCO allows, like building your own database and some of the language translation and audio opportunities that may not be present in other databases. And we have a lot of EBSCO, EBSCO, EBSCO. Next, I want to talk about Five Alive databases. I've been talking to students now for 3 quarters on Wednesday webinars, and I find out that they don't understand sometimes the databases and library resources contain more things than they initially think. They may think it's just books or ebooks or articles or videos, but actually we have some things that are quirky, student supportive, and are tuned towards student success. And I want to make sure you know what they are. Also, I want you to get your Google on, specifically your Google Scholar. I have a link set up for you, and I want to show you how that works. This may not be entirely useful for your students at this time, or it's useful for some of them, especially your transfer students, but this is like an overlay of the library's resources where you can search for full text scholarly articles. With the addition of what? EBSCO, EBSCO, EBSCO. This is more important than ever. And if you've ever had a student that said they couldn't find something in full text that is a scholarly article, this will be your go-to link. Finally, show, don't tell. Adding the actual library to Canvas in context of the assignments. I'm going to talk to you about not just linking to the class guides, and I hope you have one, but also embedding them into your course. And I want to show you the different places that you can use the library and why this is compelling, useful, engaging, and it keeps your student, instead of having to go to find, it shows you where it is. And I also want to model some simple things like, instead of saying library resources, linking to the library, instead of saying use the Writing Center, link to the Writing Center. I'm going to show you what that looks like. I hope you're ready. This is going to be sort of casual, and I'm going to throw some asides in, but I hope that these 4 things, and plus the thing I'm going to end up with, is very, very useful to you. If not, I hope it really blows your mind that we have these new things, and you write Tim and tell him what an awesome person he is. This is the library website. It's about 6 or 7 months old now, and I have to tell you, it's doing really, really well. And if you want me to do an orientation for you or others, I'm available to do so. But today I'm focusing on what? First of all, EBSCO, EBSCO, EBSCO. So I'm going to go to databases A to Z, where formerly our 89 databases are now 131, and I haven't finished adding them and building them up. As you can see, I'm adding little tips here. If you want to see what things are about, you have a description. These are the alphabetic list, and over here to the right, I put the new and trial databases. It's not extremely lovely. It looks a little bit better on the mobile phone because at least you just come to these and you can find your answer a lot more rapidly. I also changed some of the statements up here because no matter what I say, students usually will come to this area to search for an article, and it doesn't work that way. It will find the database title and maybe some of the information included here. We did change up our databases by subject to fit the programs and some assignments a little bit better. And we're working on this, and I'm making sure they have best bets and all these other things listed. And I just want to point those out because now these sorts of things are a little bit more important than ever. You could actually look at just EPSCo, Gale, or ProQuest databases. And when I say databases, I think you guys know I'm just talking about something no different than Netflix, Hulu, or Pluto, which is really hard to search. And ProQuest is like Netflix. It always says, if you saw this, you're really going to love this. But EPSCo has some interesting components, and I hope you're about to get really excited. I'm going to take you into Academic Search Premier first. Now, this is an EPSCo product. It is similar to Academic One File, which is a broad cross-disciplinary coverage. So if you take a student there, this is going to cover everything from astronomy to zoology. It's going to have scholarly articles, magazine articles, newspapers, sometimes images, a few videos, in the quality of which vary, and a little bit of everything. It's like a great place to start your search, harvest keywords, kind of find your feet. I find these to be a little bit more comfortable sometimes than using the library catalog, but the library catalog is still a great way to begin a search. So between these, we'd have Academic One File, ProQuest, and Academic Search Premier, which are our big general databases, which usually will get people most places. In my biased order, well, not so biased actually, I think ProQuest, Academic Search Premier, and then Academic One File are the most effective in that order. That said, EPSCo does some things that I really, really love. I guess I mentioned I have a bias. So I'm going to move this over a little bit. Hope you guys give me a minute. And I'm going to do a search on educational attainment. It's something I was working on recently, and it actually has a lot of cross-disciplinary pieces to it. It relates to health, civic duties, volunteerism, all sorts of things that I really didn't realize. And I'm just going to go in to do the broad search. On the first page, I kind of like tooled by that really fast, but it's really an interesting page that changes per database. Suppose you're in business. Maybe I'm going to go back. Did I tell you this was going to be casual? Let me pop back here. So a lot of times, especially for students, this might be too much. They're going to narrow down things too much. However, as faculty or staff, this may be really, really important to you. On this page, it's going to be somewhat vague, and we can make some of these decisions on the next page. But if you're looking, sometimes in business, you'll have the NAICS codes and some other things that aren't present in other databases. You'll also be able to do searches where you pull out things like the type of study, especially in the nursing and the medical databases. You're going to have an area sometimes that lets you select for human or animal subjects of research. Also, one of the really difficult things when you're doing research is when you're trying to define ages, and that varies from publication to database. Sometimes you have a section that kind of like winnows that out for you already and sort of defines, is it teens, teenagers, or young adults? What are the ages? And sometimes you can like more able to pick out babies versus toddlers in these situations on this page than any other place. But this is the basic one. This is the broad one. So I'm going to go in and do educational attainment. Educational, I would pick something that's really long, and thankfully it completed that for me. And I'm going to go in here. So what your students have the options to do here is, of course, the left-hand side has the limiters. It has full text, and it does have a great deal of exciting publications that we did not have in ProQuest or Gale. You can select references available with your scholarly and peer-reviewed. And this is important because, look, it doesn't find scholarly or peer-reviewed articles, it finds scholarly or peer-reviewed journals. And for students who don't understand the anatomy of a scholarly article, and I do have a link for that if you'd like to have it, it includes a video. It helps them at least narrow it down so that then they couldn't find, but they need to be able to, of course, Make sure it's not a letter to the editor, or in our times right now, we're being loaded with a lot of preprints that don't particularly fit that particular qualification. And of course, a book review sometimes can be 40 pages. So this type of thing here and here, and full text helps the student really narrow that down if they want to do that. You can change the publication date here. You can select trade publications, reviews, academic articles, and also down here you can change your languages, but I'm going to show you something else that's awesome. And you can also look into the subjects to make sure you narrow it down into the area you want to go into. I'm just going to go into the first article and show you here on the when you click the title, you'll be able to go into a section that allows you to choose a language so that the page can be translated. You will also be able to listen to it and choose the accent of your choice. Additionally, much like all our other databases, it does have a section of different things you can do with this. You can send it to Google Drive. You can print, you can email, you can save, and yes, you can cite. It doesn't have the big fat quotation marks, but everything you can do is over here on the right hand side. And it also includes a permalink. Our permalinks have been working really, really well. In theory, when you provide this to a student, that student should only have to log in just like they're logging into a database, and it'll bring them into this page. Now, let me show you the things that's kind of fun about this particular product. There's ways to do it in other ones, but this one's really easy. Okay, suppose this search isn't quite what you wanted. You can go up here to choose databases and build your own database. This is also going to provide me with opportunity to talk to you about what we have added. You see right here, these 3 ebook collections, they're really great. In fact, I think you may even be able to find a textbook in here if you look. And there's a lot of great things to say about ebook EPSCo textbooks is they can have multiple users at one time, unlike some of the other databases which make you pay for that kind of use. While these are separated out, and I do have them listed separately, if you select the ebook collection like you've been using for years and years, you will get all of these seamlessly. And this one as well, all these babies. Now we have Health Source Nursing Academic. That's going to, of course, be for allied health and nursing at a higher level. We have Consumer Medication piece, which may be good for both. Points of View is just another kind of a topic finder. We have biographies. We added Consumer Health Reference ebook collection, which is also searchable through here. And we have Social Index and Social Work Reference Center and Family Studies abstracts added for those in sociology and psychology. And of course, these are fantastic for other sorts of topics. We have Business Source Elite and Regional Business News. These two are a powerhouse to add into our collection. We have added too, there is an educational ProQuest. Now we have ERIC full text. Health Source, Consumer Edition. Again, that's good for people doing maybe allied health at an early level, and also students writing about health in general. We have Alta Health Watch, Biomedical Reference Collection. Very, very excited about this. We have 2 new Spanish language databases. This one's going to be a broad one, and we have one Medica Latina, and that's going to be health and allied health related. I don't think it's quite to the level of health academic, but if it is, please let me know. We have humanities abstracts, which by the way isn't just abstracts. You're able to tie in and link to these other databases and bring those articles in. We have these are kind of good for high school and sometimes a different learning level. Those are awesome. Newspaper Source is not as strong as Newsbank, but it is here available to you. We have a basic encyclopedia. Primary search, those are actually full text. Things from children's books and magazines. They're available, many of them in full color. So if you're in early childhood education, or if you want to look at something from a childlike point of view or something of that nature, these are the 2 databases for you. The Professional Development Collection is surprisingly useful. It actually has a lot of literary criticism, some things on religion, all sorts of different things, but it's primarily supposed to be for us as educators. Psychology and Behavioral Sciences collection. Really, really excited to have this. So if you're working in business, you can find some great articles on things like persuasion. If you're teaching psychology, this is like a new and fantastic pool for you to reach into and share with your students, use for discussion posts, or encourage them to look up articles on certain types and share them in discussion posts. We have a much better selection of things than we did just 2 weeks ago. Religion and philosophy collection. I've already shared this with Dennis. And vocational career. Oh yes, I have shared this with Jody, but you also can look into it. General science full text is exactly what it says. And this is a great addition for our biology, chemistry, and even statistics and environmental types of topics. Legal Information Reference Center actually has forms. Yes, actually has forms. So this is very useful for criminal justice and also our other types of programs involving legal and law issues, in addition with legal collection. So we've upgraded there. Family studies and social work already talked about. Applied science and technology source is a trial, but if you want to look at it, please do. So what you can do in here is select all these. Suppose I'm doing educational attainment. Guess what? It has a health component. It has a social sciences component. It has things to do with family. It has things to do with psychology and behavior, perhaps here as well. But I can add all of these in instead of going into each one of these databases. Select OK, and now do my search in all of these places. And this is going to change my selections a great deal. And then I could go in and do my full text, peer review if I need it. As you can see, since not all the databases had the references included, it's not over here. So sometimes when you jump back and forth, just like your main search page changes, the left-hand side changes too. But here, now we're looking at things from all sorts of different places. This also lets you know the main database it may be pulling from, but keep in mind, humanities also goes into Academic Search Premier, and it pulls out those full text so you could see them there. So I don't know if you're excited. I know we're 16 minutes in, but I really hope you're feeling the EPSCo, EPSCo, EPSCo. And if you're trying to figure out how you might be able to use it, please reach out to us at the library. As it turns out, we have a lot of ideas. I happen to be really excited about this one, but there's so many others. So let me get to the next part of what I want to show you. Now I'm going to take you through something really rapid, and I just want to give you a taste of. So I'm going up here to database A to D, and I'm looking in subjects, and I'm going to test prep. What we have here, and advisors probably know all about this and some different people, we have a test prep center that helps with college success skills. It also helps with placement tests, and it also helps with different testing, and this kind of lists everything it's going to do. Like some of the colleges things, when you go in, you create your own account, and then you go in and do the things that you need to do, and it can keep up for you. It's going to have tests, tutorials, and ebooks. It has practice tests, and it has all these things that your students can work on. And you may not know that it's there, so I want to make sure you know all about it, because a lot of students don't know that these things help. And these things might be very, very key to what? Their success. I'm going to go back to databases A to Z. I know you guys know all about the ebooks. I'm just going to kind of clear the filters, and I'm just going to show you 4 more things you may not know about. I want to make sure that you know that we have, this is the casual part of this because I'm going down them all. Computer science, I think you know, we covered that. We covered culturegrams. Some of you may not know about culturegrams, and it is a slightly unusual looking database. Pretty much you point to what you need and you're able to get to. This is really very easy for our students to use. If you go into the states, it's going to talk about things like religion, economics, a political climate. It's going to have histories, it's going to have flags, and it's going to have all sorts of things that may be useful for those types of products. And you see it's a little bit unusual looking, but it hits on the primary parts and gives people some information, more like an encyclopedia. You can print it, email it, and also generate a citation. Hopefully we'll be changing to APA 7th eventually, different places have different lag times on them. Usually it's a year, but with COVID, who knows what we're going to do? And it's not us entirely, it's kind of a standard. So I'm going to go through that. You saw that and you've never seen it before, I hope. And I'm going to take you to Google Scholar eventually. That is set up to already search for full text. I'm going to show you statistical abstract. I'm going to show you statistical abstract. I want to make sure that you know that we have this particular item because it doesn't have articles or ebooks or anything like that. It's an old, to me it's kind of old school, but it's a item that's been coming out for decades, and it actually pulls from government documents and other types of information and statistics. We could see this as being a little slow, but we have the sections and you can also look for the keywords. Sometimes you can get quite granular with this. And so if you have a student that needs to provide statistics or you need to find data sets on different topics, this might be the way to go. I think you can get as granular sometimes as finding out how many pets Americans have in their home, how many televisions and things of this nature. So it's not just your basic demographics about your population and otherwise, and it's going to be just the facts, just the basic numbers. It's not going to draw any secondary type conclusions. It's just, here you go. This is how they use this media between these two periods. And you see if it's out of date, you can sometimes come down there and find out where it came from and locate something that's more up to date. But as many of these things do draw from census data, there will be sometimes a lag if you see something in the demographic area. But it's a group of statistics that you can send your students to for presentations and other places where they're trying to maybe have a poster project, or if they need to have a unique data set, you should be able to pull it from here. Also in our Live 5, Business Insights Global. This is not going to have your standard type of search, and it's going to provide you with information that sometimes is a little hard to find. It puts it all in one place. This is going to have a company finder, company history. It's going to have SWOT reports, strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats, so that students can do a comparison between groups, or if they're writing about companies or opening up companies, it may give them some different ideas. If you have some people in accounting and you want them to do an acid test or otherwise look at financial reports and key ratios, you're going to find those here. Also, if you're trying to find something to discuss, they do have a section of case studies, and it also does comparison charts, which may be of interest, market share reports, and industry essays, etc. So this is unique in that it's going to find you things that aren't in your typical array of article, video, etc. This format is going to be actual information about companies, and I do love a good SWOT report. And finally, on the database's A to Z list, I'm going to go to G, Google Scholar. Now, I'm going to move this up because I want to show you. I've set this Google Scholar up for our institution. If you are logged in on another tab, or you can be prepared to log in, you'll be able to get to full text materials that you find on Google Scholar by going into that link. Other than that, you can go to settings and do a setup, but this is pretty effective and fast. You're looking for things on the right-hand side, and I updated it so that it says Big Ben CC full text. That means us. So when you click on this, 85% of the time, it's going to connect. It's going to kind of send you into the library catalog, which is fine, which will let you go to the research library and locate this article. If you're wondering, like, why is this better or different than library catalog? Well, as you know, Google does have an extra secret sauce, and it is said while you cannot get to the full text of all these things, the knowledge and the algorithms contained in this, which is essentially an overarching search now to our collection, is something you can benefit by. And in my experience, I have found that sometimes Google Scholar will search better than a database itself, especially things like CNOL and nursing. Sometimes I have found that this might be a competitive advantage. If you click on the title, it's going to take you to a paywall. If you click on Big Ben CC full text, 85% of the time it should connect a full text. Another reason I would like you guys to know about this, if you have a student that does have a scholarly article and they're struggling to find the full text or they hit the paywall, this is the first place I come to help find that article. And usually it's there. And now that we've added EPSCo, this is better than ever. Just make sure you use my link and look for Big Ben CC full text. Click over here, not over there, and you should find it a very satisfying research experience. Now I want to finish up with show, don't tell. And I want to talk about the library, using the library inside of Canvas. And I have access to this particular page. I'm going to show you, generally speaking, I think you may have to select your modules, but you probably have library out here. And have some indications that this may not always be encouraging to students in terms of them actually using that module. And sometimes you're in an assignment, you might say use library resources, or you may say use, let me bring this down. Use library resources. Sorry, I'm spacing out here at 25 minutes. I hope you are as well. Anyway, you might say use library resources and they don't know what that means, which is fair, by the way. And they don't know where the library is, also fair. And they don't know how to get there, and they don't know what's going to happen to them when they're there. There's some fear and anxiety in using the library, and it may not always be perceived as a lovely, friendly place it is. Some of the options you have to do to make this a far better experience for your students is go to the section where you set up your pages, and there is an external link here, external tool, and one of the external tools is the library itself. And maybe because I already have it listed, there it is. You can click this, and what it looks like when you add item is this a little link right here. When you go to this, it's going to take you to open tab. When you go over here to the library module, let me show you. It's going to take you to this tab. And these tabs both open to the library page. But let me show you this. I'm going to have to go back down the modules to show you the page I prepared. Now, what if, just saying, what if on your assignment that has library research, you did the following? As you may have noticed, I hope I did show you that we have the Ask a Librarian tab. And when we're signed into a local desk, it comes out and asks people for help. If not, it's here and it gives them a place they can get help 24/7. Now look how I set this up. You will need, and this is just kind of very vague, 2 scholarly articles. Use these library resources. Do you see how I link that? If I say use the library or go to the library, link it. If you really want them to use an individual database, link that individual database. If you want them to use a special section, including our class guides where you may already have something, link to that. But do you notice what I just did? This is included in the page. We can give you the embed code so you can put this in your page, your class piece in your page, Wednesday webinars in your page, any content on the library. We can provide you with an embed code so you can add it to your Canvas. So your student no longer has to jump around or go to press tab or look for something over here. It's right here. This has, like if you say go to your class guide, link it. You can also embed it. If you want them to see how to identify scholarly resources, link to it. Hey, you can also embed it. Just ask us. And if you can't find the scholarly articles, which happens so many times, or you can't find full text, we have a page for that. The 5 things you do when you can't find full text. Instead of preparing your student for total success, they don't have to jump outside of this area. They'll be able to find it. Now I'm going to go over here to Edit and HTML Editor and try to get on Google Analytics. That's, by the way, how I know not a lot of things are coming from the Canvas into the library. I will send you a code that looks, I'm trying to find the front of it, something like this. This has a widget sort of situation going on. I will send you a code that looks like this. You will put it in this rich content editor and you'll be able to have the page come up. I can make the page a little smaller, a little bigger based on how you're doing your design, but we can make sure instead of popping our student out to the library, to this mysterious world of library resources or the class guide, we could actually put it right here inside of Canvas. Now, as long as this is in here and a student kind of stalls on this page, this will come out and ask them for help, and they can start a chat, and they can do this 24/7. So instead of looking for people, looking for things, looking for mysterious library resources, they are right there in context of the assignment itself. And if it's something that you feel uncomfortable with, you can sign me into your course, and myself, Tim, Matthias, all of us would be glad to help you with this process, which is where I'm going to end. I want to make sure you understand what an academic librarian does and the type of services and support that's available not only to you, but to your students. And here we go. Academic librarian roles. This is from the Association of College and Research Libraries. I hope you could kind of see, like when I took you through it, I was trying to model some of these behaviors. One of the things that we do is advocacy. When you see Tim out there hustling up 100 extra computers for students, that is primo academic library world. We advocate for our students. We try to bring in resources. This is Ron going, EPSCo, EPSCo, EPSCo. That's what we do on a daily basis. We also serve as a coordinator. We try to join different committees, try to like bring in different ideas. We're pretty much a very tech savvy crew. Take advantage of us. Also, as you can see, we work as instructional designers. We love to participate in cross-campus collaborations, including design, learning technology, learning outcomes development, all these different pieces. We absolutely want to participate in all these things. We are teachers. We are instructors. We want to interact directly with learners. We want to develop relations with our students and help them out. We want to be a big part of student success. In some cases, students, if they could just reach out to one more person on the campus, that makes all the difference in them being able to stay the course. We also employ best practices, and we do keep up with learning and integrating information literacy into our higher education, as our accreditation does want us to do. And we absolutely seek out collaborations, and we want to do things in different ways, new ways, and we'd love to work with you. We don't do things in just one way. We have a lot of different ways, modalities, and I hope you'll take a minute to gaze upon this particular theme: advocacy, coordinator, instructional designer, leadership, teacher, teaching partner, instruction, all that. These are the roles of the modern, up-to-date academic librarian, and we are ready to do all of these things. Contact us about any of these ideas. You want a workshop? You know what? We currently have time for that. Reach out to us. We want to be alive in your classes online. Thank you very much.